3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, and I'm here with Colin. Colin, how you doing, sir?
Hi, Hunter. I'm back, everybody. What's up?
Hey,
good to be here. I don't know what I'm doing. I never know what I'm doing.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. What I don't like a lot is what we're about to talk about. We're talking about Godzilla here. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Pardon me. And I'm gonna say, man, I was stoked for this movie. I saw the trailers and I went, oh, okay, like I'm gonna get some more Godzilla action. I'm gonna get some more monster fights, and I'll be honest, dude. This is one of the bigger disappointments I've had in a while. Like, I felt like I kind of got... This was like some Terminator Salvation crap, where I remember seeing the trailers for Terminator and going, oh, like, Terminator Salvation, going, oh my god, yes, this is... We're back to form of Terminator, and then that movie being so disappointing. This falls in the same scale for me. I was just kind of like, wow, there's a couple things I liked, but I was just kind of meh about this. And Colin was trying. Colin, you were trying not to fall asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put that 100% on the fault of the movie, but it definitely was like the action at the end was getting like pretty repetitious. I would say, I'm not gonna say it's Transformers bad, but like there was definitely a lot of like CGI giant monster fights, and we saw the late showing. It was getting close to midnight, and what can I say? It wasn't holding my attention like it should have been.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a challenge. You want to go and talk about the plot of this movie?
Oh God, yeah. So I guess this is like following up from the 2014 movie. Like it has the same, like Monarch kind of, science agency. Like behind all this, it has those two same characters that were in the 2014 version that are part of Monarch. So this is the same Godzilla. It didn't seem like it was marketed as a sequel to that, or that it was a continuation at all. Like I'm still confused if it is, but what you're getting here though is now focusing on this new family with Millie Bobby Brown as the daughter. She's obviously 11 from Stranger Things. We got Vera Farmiga, who's been in countless things at this point. She's a really good actress. And Kyle Chandler, who is in Bloodlines and all kinds of things as well. All good actors, like very good actors, playing this family. They're kind of just like the mom and dad have different roles in the monsters all of a sudden becoming awakened during this movie, so they're kind of tied up in all of this as the plot starts playing out at the start. But basically you get the three-headed monster, and dude, I can't even remember how to pronounce this monster's name. Do you remember the three-headed guy? Ghidorah? Is that it? Did I say that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, the three-headed monster Ghidorah. So this thing gets woken up, right? Does it come from space? I don't remember.
Yeah, so I will give the movie credit on that point. Like, they do stick with the space origins of Godzilla, which is actually how they do it. So I was like, okay, but yeah, I believe all the monsters just come from space.
Okay, so Ghidorah wakes up, and then basically all the humans are like, dude, we can't beat this thing. This thing sucks. We got to get Godzilla. Like, isn't that basically the plot?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say from there. But, you got the humans doing their part. It doesn't seem like it has much effect on anything the entire time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yep. So basically your plot is one monster fight after another, which I will say this. In 2014, when I was all pumped for Godzilla and we had Michael Cranston, a.k.a. Walter White.
Wait, you mean Bryan Cranston?
Yeah, Brian. What did I say?
Michael Cranston. Michael
Cranston. I love Michael Cranston.
Me too.
His nephew. Bryan Cranston from Walter White, dude. So spoiler alert, he fucking dies in the first third of that movie. And you don't even see much Godzilla fighting in that movie at all. So that movie, I was like, dude, that movie sucked. Like, I didn't like that movie at all. It had these big spider monsters that Godzilla eventually had to beat. You basically got the one big monster fight at the end in that movie where Godzilla's, kicking ass against these spider monsters. There was a lot of complaints about that movie. You're just getting a bunch of spiders attacking all these cities the whole time. There's not really much Godzilla lore. I will say that if you're a Godzilla nerd at all, dude, you're gonna like all of the monsters in this movie way more than the stupid spiders, because you get, I won't spoil everything right away, but you get some iconic monsters from Godzilla in this, but it's just the plot is one monster fight turns into okay, that monster fight happened. Oh shit! Now this next one's gonna happen. Type of kind of repetition that I kind of fell a little bored of near the end.
No, I agree. So I'm gonna tell you right now. So Kyle Chandler, I recognize him from Friday Night Lights.
There you go.
I really don't like Kyle Chandler. I think he's really terrible. And
oh, you do? I like him.
I am not a fan. He's. So I remember that show he used to do.
He plays the same guy a lot, though. He plays that same
does.
really stressed out, really controlling guy a lot.
Well, I remember this motherfucker from Early Edition, that CBS show. I go way back with me not liking Kyle Chandler. I have been consistent on my just hatred of Kyle. He's like a grown-up Jason Biggs. That's what I always think when I see him. I'm just God. I'm how do you keep getting jobs? I remember I saw him. And I know you like the movie more than I do, but I remember I saw him in Manchester by the Sea, and I was like, God damn it, Kyle Chandler. I'm why? Why does this guy keep... I was so happy he got his ass kicked in Game Night. That's the first time I've liked him in a while. I'm good. He's getting hit. I can't stand Kyle Chandler. And
I had no idea you had this beef against him. I always thought he's a good actor.
Yeah.
He does play the same guy a lot.
Yeah.
He plays kind of that dick asshole controlling dude.
Yeah, I think he's a goon, but and then Vera Farmiga, I enjoyed the hell out of her. She was great and Up in the Air. I loved her in Source Code, and then I know I've talked about the show a couple times on other reviews. But Bates Motel, that's one of my favorite shows. I fucking loved Bates Motel.
Really?
And, yeah, it's an amazing show. And she was
That's
great.
the Psycho. It's
Prequel.
like an homage to the Psycho, yeah. Movie.
Yeah, it's like the Psycho prequel. Yeah, she, her playing Norman Bates, she was amazing on that show. So seeing her in this, it really did kind of break my heart a little bit because her character... You're going to have to help me on this because her character, Dr. Emma Russell, holy crap, could you, this was something so bad, this set women back. Her motivation for what she's doing, dude, so Colin will tell you, I was laughing so hard when she's going over her plan. You find out she's the bad girl, but that sounds weird, but she's the bad person, whatever, who's orchestrating basically getting all the monsters to rise up from where they were and basically break out of their wherever they're trapped in. And they have
She plays a good villain though.
See, I thought her motivations were just so stupid I couldn't even
it's just it's also just confusing what she's talking about, or it's just ridiculous.
I don't know. I think it's a little both because I guess they lost their kid in the attacks from the 2014 Godzilla movie, and so good God, they will not let this kid die. By the way, they keep bringing up this kid if your brother was here, if your son was here, he would. I'm just oh my God, I was you lost your kid. I can't imagine how shitty that is, but the fact that she goes, I'm gonna go ahead and unleash these monsters because they're gonna go ahead and reset the world to the natural. I'm bringing in my own new world order. I went, that's the dumbest fucking plan I've heard in a really long time. Like, is that just me or?
Oh no, it was. I mean, yeah, it was dumb. I like her too though. It's funny that she was picked for this. Well, it's not funny. It actually makes sense because so I don't know if we ever mentioned the director, but the dude that made this, Michael Dougherty, like he's like a horror guy. Like he does horror movies. Like he did Trick or Treat and he did Krampus. And it makes sense that like they would want to cast Vera Farmiga to go with him because she's been doing all the Conjuring movies. She plays Lorraine Warren, one of the old like conjurers, kind of like the ghost chasers back in the day that was involved in all of these like famous stories. She's been in that a bunch. I was just watching her too in that new Netflix series When They See Us about the Central Park 5.
Oh, I gotta start watching that.
It's a crazy series. It's gonna make you love cops even more than you do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I do not hate cops. By the way,
no.
Because I can already hear someone typing. Hunter hates cops. No, I don't hate cops.
Oh, I wasn't even speaking to you in that moment. I was just using the proverbial you, like it'll make the person watching like love cops. Yeah, I was just being facetious, but yes, Hunter is not racist. He appreciates the protection the cops provide society.
Thank you. Stop shooting us when we're on.
Yeah. I mean, just be chill to black people sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, all the time.
No,
like,
no, come on.
If all the time
in the middle here.
All the time for not doing something wrong. If we're like robbing or something, then yes, please take us down. But don't.
But you never know what you're doing out there, looking all shady, Hunter.
Calm down, Fox and Friends. Okay.
Anyway,
go ahead.
Anyway, she actually plays like the what do you want to say, the district attorney, the person that's trying to prosecute the 5 black kids back in the 70s or whenever the fuck it happened. So she's kind of the villain lawyer in that one. So she plays this kind of like villain character well, but dude, like when she's laying out like her motivations, what she's doing, and like all the human elements of all of this, I ended up just like honestly like not really caring because none of it mattered. Like, like she would be doing her thing, but really when it comes down to it, I was just like, okay, you're making this way too convoluted. Like, just show me the next monster fight. That's what this movie is. I already get it. You know what I mean? That was kind of where I was at.
I agree 1,000%. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I don't remember if you were on the review. I think it was me and Scott. But when Kong Skull Island came out, me and Scott, or me and you, we both loved it. Like, we both loved it. We were like, oh my god, this was such an awesome surprise. Like
that has a great human plot to it because it's like of survival. That's the plot that makes sense. Surviving, like being in the trenches and surviving all of the terrible things that you're in. Like when you're trying to like, play chess with the monsters and like have an active role and like deciding what's happening, like it's just a failing plot because like you're not doing anything. You're not actually making a difference. So like I don't care at that point.
Yeah, and I think too, the John C. Reilly subplot that he had ended up being such a welcome surprise. I was like, oh wow, this is an emotional thing. You don't feel any of that emotion, like, because again, they keep bringing up the dead kid. I never like cared at all. Colin will tell you, because Kyle Chandler's character, he's kind of that outcast, but he's smarter than everybody. Which, when it gets to those points, I just went, I don't believe this at all. There's a point I laughed so hard with the cliche because Kyle Chandler's character goes, well, after my kid died and my wife left me, I did what everyone starts doing. I started drinking, and I laughed so fucking hard in that theater, I couldn't even.
That's true.
I was just like, oh my god, like it gets to a point where it's cliche city. There's a point where everything kind of the final third act takes place in Boston, so you can see Fenway Park, of course, and because of course they have to go there with it. And oh god, so they have O'Shea Jackson Jr. Little Cube, Little Cube is in this,
and Thomas Middleditch and Bradley Whitford.
Oh, I'll get to Thomas Middleditch.
They're all on Argos.
Yeah, but O'Shea Jackson Jr. though, he tells Kyle Chandler's character Mark and Virga Farmiga's Dr. Emma Russell, they're in like a Humvee together, and he goes, "Oh my god, if I was your kid, I'd run away from you too, or I'd go home too." And they kind of look at each other like, "Wait, what'd you say? Say that again?" And it's like, "No, like if you were my parents, I'd go home too." And they cut to Madison, Millie Bobby Brown's character, and out of all the chaos in this fucking city, where she could have gotten far away from this fucking monster fight, she goes back to their house, which so happens to be a couple 100 feet from where the monsters are fighting. It's like, okay, this is very cliche to say the least. And I will say this felt like a Stranger Things episode, because as much as Millie Bobby Brown was like crunched down in a corner screaming, I thought, okay, she's gonna make glass break, and that doesn't happen at any point in this movie.
Oh my god, she was just crying and screaming the whole time. It was like such a waste of even having her in this.
Yeah, it was like Drake was chasing her, but I stand by the joke. But honestly though, she really gets nothing to do, so I can't even really judge her in this because they gave her very little dialogue, but there's really nothing about her character. And also, they make her character pretty stupid actually, because
this movie made me like her less.
That really can I ask why?
Yeah, because she's terrible. She's just crying and like screaming the whole time. Like, what's to like about that?
That's fair.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, if that's like the extent of like the roles she's gonna be playing, then I mean, I'm not gonna like. It just made like watching that character made me like her less.
That's fair.
I mean, like, what are we to judge actors and actresses on? Like, if you're not paying attention to like their personal lives and politics, like just on their act. If you're just like judging actors on their acting performances, like, her character in this, I didn't like her character. Like, she just, it just like annoyed me. So that's why.
No, that's fair. The one character I did kind of like, she barely had anything to do. I just like the actress, Sally Hawkins, of course, from the Paddington movies and Shape of Water. I just like seeing her and stuff.
Yeah. So she was in the first one. She was in the 2014 movie.
I vaguely remember her, but I'll be honest with you.
She's like the member of the Monarch, with the Asian dude. I can't see his name.
Ken Watanabe. Who,
yeah.
Okay,
them two. They're like the two that are like, they know Godzilla shit.
So I love Ken Watanabe. Like, I really love Ken Watanabe. I'm always happy to see him stuff. And he was the one, because you remember, he was Sato in Inception. I'm a huge fan of his, but they gave him so little to do in this, which is a shame. He has one of the few actual emotional moments in the movie where he sacrifices himself. With this bomb, which doesn't make any sense of the physics of radiation, but whatever. But he sacrifices himself, and he has this one-on-one scene with Godzilla, basically, for like a couple minutes. And considering he's acting against nothing, he had a better acting performance than pretty much everyone else in the movie, just in that scene alone, which I think is really fucking telling. I don't know, man. Like, the thing is, I think this is better than the 2014 Godzilla, but at the same time, that bar is so low. You know what I mean? Like, I just you should be better than the 2014 Godzilla. Like, it shouldn't be that hard for you, but
they're both fundamentally different. Like, the first one was like building tension the whole movie until like you got into one big fight, whereas this movie, like, you get like a big monster fight like right off the bat. And you get monster fights throughout pretty consistently, and with like very iconic Godzilla characters from like the lore. So they're fundamentally different. Like, which one's better or worse. Like, I don't know. That's probably up to that. It's probably gonna wish-wash with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think for me, what is the most frustrating is that the Kong Skull Island exists, so you know how to do this correctly. Clearly, you guys do. We're getting Godzilla vs Kong in 2020, so I mean, if it's as bad as this, then I'm gonna be like, well, fuck, what the hell's the point, you know? So this next one needs to be better. I loved the design for Mothra. That was actually something I was like, oh, like the first time you see Mothra, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And Rodan scared the shit out of me. Rodan looks like
all the monsters look great.
Yeah, like the monster design. I went, oh, bravo,
dude. I mean, this movie could legitimately get awards for special effects and design and maybe even sound editing. Like, there's some, like, I will say this, like, when the 4K of this comes out and you have, like, your new home theater or something you just installed, like, this is a good one to put on, like, a couple scenes and turn the sound up to 11, like, you know? Like, there's good special effects in this, for sure.
Yeah, and I know people are going to go, well, I don't watch these for the human characters. I watch them for the monsters. I just did not think that the monsters were showcased enough, and they do that weird kind of like sepia filter where sometimes that it's so dark or it's so mixed.
It's always raining.
Yeah, it's hard to actually tell.
It's really dark.
What the hell is happening? And it's like, I feel like there's a cool fight going. I'll tell you right now, Pacific Rim's a better movie. Like, if someone is telling me,
hell yeah.
Like, I mean, the kaiju fights are way better in that, and there's some good human shit in there. The human stuff in here just falls apart. But
the big difference in Pacific Rim is that it's like, it's humans are the ones fighting the kaijus with their big-ass robots. Like, that plot, period, always wins. Like, giant robots versus kaiju, fucking sign me up. Like, I mean, I don't hate, like, Godzilla. Like, the trailer had the line, like, oh, we're going to use Godzilla as a pet. Like, he's our junkyard dog that's going to protect our world. You know what I mean? And then, what's his face? I already forgot his name again. The dude from Monarch, the Asian dude. He's like,
Ken Watanabe.
Yeah. He's like, no, we're going to be his pet. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't even know what that means, but but it sounds cool when you say it, like, really dramatically. But yeah, it's just, I think they tried way too hard with all the human stuff, you know, like there should have been a simple, like, people just trying to survive or something. Yeah. I don't even know how you make Godzilla human plot good. The best way this could have been good is if it was like all in Japanese and subtitled and like only an hour long.
Damn.
Yeah, and then you just like have all the monster fights that are in this, because the monster fights are pretty good, but they probably could have been a little less dark.
So
there's a lot of rain in Pacific Rim too. I'll admit that.
All right, I'm gonna get you to the last thing I'll talk about real quick before we give our ratings. Thomas Middleditch, aka the Verizon guy now.
And one Silicon Valley guy.
Dude, I don't like him. Like, I really don't. Like, he's
what
almost
straight white males do you like, Hunter?
Okay.
Literally the two straight white males in this movie. You're like, I hate that guy.
Well, actually, there's another straight white male, Bradley Whitford, the guy from Get Out. I liked him in this.
He's Jewish. He doesn't count. White Christian male. Straight white Christian male. What straight white Christian male do you like, Hunter? 0. That's the answer.
So I don't like you, apparently?
I'm not in Godzilla.
Unfortunately.
You're like, I love the Jewish guy, I love the women, and I really love O'Shea Jackson Jr. Classic Hunter.
I like the way that you spun this now. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell?
Well, it's funny. I'm totally joking, but like, I saw you walking into it when you originally mentioned that you didn't like Thomas Middleditch, and I was like, oh, that'll be a funny joke. Hunter hates straight white males.
That's fair, and I do appreciate that. But like, But even on Silicon Valley, though, like, he's only funny when T.J. Miller's character or anyone else on the show is making fun of him. I don't. So I see him as a scientist the same way that I saw Ludacris as a detective in Max Payne. I was just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't buy this at all. So
yeah, he's too, like, once you do Verizon commercials and I see you way too fucking much, like, get off my movie screen.
Yeah, so when you do the whole, like, oh yeah, I totally, like, work for this organization, I'm gonna go ahead and, be a super smart scientist, it's like, no, you're not. And also, O'Shea Jackson Jr., God bless him, man, they just didn't give him anything to do. I love him in pretty much everything I see him in. I think he's a really good actor already.
He's especially good when he's, like, really obsessed with Batman, and he's, like, trying to get with Ingrid.
Yeah, and yeah, he's great doing that too. Or when he plays his dad, but
no one like that.
But I really like O'Shea Jackson Jr. He just really didn't get any time to go ahead and actually showcase himself. So, is this better than the 2014 Godzilla? Yeah. Is it better than Pacific Rim? Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Is it better than
Uprising? Yes.
So actually, I don't remember what I gave Uprising. So yeah, I'd say yes. By default, it probably is.
You gave Uprising a better grade than me. I think I gave Uprising like a go fuck. Uprising was on like my worst of. I don't think this will make my worst of. I have a feeling this could make your worst of. I don't know yet.
I don't know. Like we're only halfway home, and like I said, I wasn't angry. Okay, that's not true. I was angry at a couple points, but
we saw your friends when we left the theater, which I love this new dynamic about this of us seeing the movies together, and now like, so our friends that reviewed Endgame with us, we actually saw them at the theater.
Allie and Aaron, we love you guys.
Yeah, they're great. We saw them and they really liked it. I thought that was interesting. That like almost immediately changed my perception of the movie. I was like, oh, you really liked it? That's interesting. So, there's definitely different opinions out there, but yeah, I couldn't understand what they were talking about.
No, I agree. Like honestly, if you like this, then this is one of those movies that if you like it, I don't care enough about this to argue with you about it. You know what I mean? Like, if someone was telling me, oh, Transformers The Last Night's the best movie ever, then I would have to stop and go, okay, I need to tell you all the ways you're fucking wrong. If someone told me they enjoyed this, I'd go, all right, fine. Like, I think you're dumb, but I don't, like, but I'm not angry enough to just stop whatever I'm doing and go, like, hey, let me tell you why you're wrong. So, yeah, I mean, so going, final thoughts. I mean, this might be something I buy like on Black Friday when it's on sale for like $10 in 4K, and like, all right, I can smoke a bowl and just watch the monster fights and cheer that on. But I mean, we once saw this in IMAX, and goddamn, I did not even get close to my money's worth for $15 a ticket. I was like, oh man, I kind of hate that we did this, but I'm happy I got to see it with you at least because that helps. Yeah,
it was more fun watching the finals beforehand. Honestly,
yeah, agreed. Honestly, yeah, that's actually very true. I'm gonna give this a C. Yeah, I'll give it a C because it's like if you saw this, if you Redbox this or Amazon Prime Video rented this, you'd probably go like, oh, all right. But yeah, even seeing this at an early matinee, I think that's too generous. So yeah, C for me. Colin, your final thoughts and grades, sir?
Yeah, I wasn't like super pumped for this one. Like I wasn't excited for it as much as like other people. Like other people were getting really excited for Godzilla, and I was like, it's a good trailer. Like I'll admit, like it's a fun, good trailer that like they were showing before like Endgame and some other stuff. And I was like, yeah, the special effects look dope. The special effects are very good in this movie. But I would say that the biggest, mark against this movie was that I was bored, man. Like, it was...
Yep.
The story was, like... All the human elements of this story were so like convoluted. It was like so. I think this is what you get when you get a director that does like nothing but horror. Like in horror, it's like a cardinal sin really to use too much humor at all. Like you want it to be very eerie, very dark, very creepy. Like this dude doesn't know how to use humor well in a big blockbuster to create a sense of, just like you want that popcorn flick. If you're going to be doing all this crazy special effects and all this stuff, like give me, Captain America looking at his ass saying that's America's ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me something to kind of break up the dark, dreary, raining monster fights and the screaming, crying Millie Bobby Brown. And the really brooding, angry Kyle Chandler and the fucking backstabbing Vera Farm, like all this dark shit, like dark, motive bullshit, whatever. Like it's all just so like, oh god, like just draining. There is like super badass monster fights in this, and that's where like this movie saves itself. Is that I think I could rewatch this movie and skip through all the dumb human scenes and like watch monster fights, and there's some like pretty dope monster fights. And I think if I turned my TV brightness really high up, maybe I could see what's going on a little bit better. But I'd probably rewatch it. I think I'm still excited to see this Godzilla fight Kong of Skull Island. Like that's gonna be a pretty dope movie, so like I'm still pretty excited for that. Like this didn't completely ruin that. Honestly, I think I liked it a little bit more than you, so I'm gonna give it a C plus. I think that's probably generous, but it sounds like some people really liked it, but I just couldn't get past kind of the style in which they kind of ran through the human element in the plot.
No, I agree. Like, and I watched a couple reviews, read a couple reviews, and I just went for people who loved it. And I just went, I can't go there with you. Like, I really tried, but I can't. So, Godzilla Kong vs. Kong comes out in 2020, I guess. So, I mean, we're getting more of these. So,
Yeah, but I like Kong.
I too. So hopefully
like if we get fuck man, I gotta learn the Asian dude's name. I keep calling him the Asian dude. But
Ken Watanabe.
Ken Watanabe. I'm so sorry. You're not just the Asian dude to me, okay? You're the Japanese dude. But you're but like to see him and then the fish fucker, like if they're like, hanging out with the Kong Skull Island people, like that'll be kind of cool crossover, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, and then you got Godzilla versus Kong. Who are you placing your bets on? I know I would be putting my money on a tie because that's the obvious choice, but that'd be dope to see them fight it out. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still excited. I really hope that somehow Thomas Middleditch gets punched by Kong. That would be awesome.
Punched by Kong, he would explode.
Yeah, like Kong just punches him
in the dick.
Yeah, like in Bumblebee when John Cena gets punched by Bumblebee and he just goes flying. I want that for Thomas Middleditch.
John Cena and Bumblebee, god damn it.
Like if I can get that, I'm sold. But
that's true.
And I will say that the end credit scene, I went, it's a cool, without spoiling it, it's a cool thing. And then I think the last shot, you know what, I'm gonna give it a C plus. And you know why I'm gonna give it a C plus? It's because of the last shot of the movie. If you're a Godzilla fan, you'll really appreciate the last shot. And I really did love that last shot. So, yeah, I'll give it a C plus. But I'm like almost begrudgingly doing
we're in agreement then, sir.
We are. I really love that last shot of the movie. So yeah guys, Godzilla, let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can go ahead and like us on Facebook at TheReelOneal. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow Colin on Twitter at
TheReelOneal.
And you can follow our comrade Scott on Twitter at Nearmanthefirst. And you can follow us on oh my god, there's so much, SoundCloud, iTunes for a limited time, soon to be Apple Music, I guess, Spotify, Podbean, and Google Podcasts at The Real Pineapple. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We won't have reviews up this week for Dark Phoenix. That'll be next week because I am out of town this weekend. So we'll have a review up for Dark Phoenix next week. That Tuesday, what is that? That Tuesday, the 11th. We'll have a review up for that. And before I leave, actually, we might be able to get this up here Thursday before I leave. I'm gonna go see. Oh God, why am I blanking on the name of it? Booksmart. I just bought a ticket for that.
Yeah, do it. I'll review that with you. Cool.
Because Olivia Wilde, I mean, she's gorgeous, obviously, but fucking talented. I heard this since it's her directorial debut, she did a hell of a job. So I'm really curious to actually see it. I don't know anything about the movie. I haven't even seen the trailer. I'm gonna keep it like that, so I'm gonna go in cold. But yeah, I'm seeing that tomorrow night at 6:55, so we'll have a review up for that before I'm New Hampshire bound. But guys, thank you so much for listening. You guys take care.
Meow.